Roman Reigns wanted acknowledgement. He wanted control. He wanted the family to fall back in line. But on Monday Night Raw, May 11th, 2026, Roman didn't get the acknowledgement he wished for. Instead, he got destruction. Jacob Fatu didn't just interrupt the ceremony that Roman Reigns was hoping for. He didn't just send a message. He walked into Raw and made Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso look like they were standing in the path of natural disaster. But that wasn't the only major moment from Raw. We also had Seth Rollins accidentally creating chaos around the Street Profits, Joe Hendry picking up another big moment, and Asuka giving Iyo Sky what felt like an emotional passing of the torch. Welcome to the Tea Drop, where the brew is strong and the takes are even stronger. So today we're breaking down the top 3 moments from Monday Night Raw, May 11th of 2026. Without further ado, let's get into it. Coming in at number 3, we have Joe Hendry and the Street Profits picking up a major win over the Vision. And on paper, this is already important because Angelo Dawkins pinned Austin Theory, who is one half of the World Tag Team Champions. That means the Street Profits now might have a real argument for a future championship opportunity. This wasn't just a random 6-man tag. This was WWE, for the most part, quietly moving pieces around the board, at least to try to better this tag division that's pretty much dead at this point. But the Street Profits needed momentum. Joe Hendry needed to continue feeling like he belongs in this major WWE main roster. And the Vision needed to stay protected without taking a clean, damaging loss. So that's when Seth Rollins comes in. Because Seth Rollins gets involved, stops Braun Breaker's spear attempt, and that chaos directly leads to the finish. But here's where it gets a little interesting. Braun Breaker accidentally spears Angelo Dawkins after Seth moves out of the way. So even though Joe Hendry and the Street Profits wins the match, WWE still plants tension after the bell when it comes to this group. Montez Ford sees Dawkins gets taken out, Seth Rollins is involved, Braun Breaker is involved, and suddenly what should feel like a clean babyface victory becomes a little messy. And that is what I actually liked about this, because the win gives the Street Profits something. It gives them some momentum, and it gives them a case for a title shot. But the ending also creates a problem. And in wrestling, problems are what move stories forward. So my take on this is very simple. The Street Profits got the win, but Seth Rollins may have accidentally planted the Nets issue. This wasn't just about beating the Vision. This was about WWE creating friction between people who should be on the same side. Because now you can ask the question, was Seth just trying to help, or did Seth make everything worse? And that's where Seth Rollins works best. Seth is not just a wrestler in this segment. He is chaos in a human form. Even when he tries to help, somehow the room still catches fire. And for the Street Profits, this could be the beginning of something bigger, because Dawkins getting the pin over Austin Theory is important, because Montez Ford reacting to Dawkins getting speared is also important. And if WWE is finally going to heat the Street Profits back up as serious tag team contenders, this was the right kind of setup. So number 3 is Joe Hendry and the Street Profits defeating the Vision. It was a good match. It had the important result it needed, and a lot more story underneath the surface than people may realize. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. But let's move on to number 2. At number 2, we have one of the more emotional moments of the night. Asuka and Iyo Sky backstage. And this one is one of those segments that doesn't need to be loud or feel important, because we already know it's important. Asuka tells Iyo she's proud of her. She embraces her, and the whole thing feels like WWE is presenting this as a goodbye, or at least a pause in Asuka's journey for now. But more importantly, it felt like a passing of the torch. Asuka is one of the most important women WWE has ever had in their roster. Her aura, her presentation, her style, and her credibility. Asuka is one of those performers who change what fans expected from women's wrestling in WWE. So when she has a quiet emotional moment with Iyo Sky, we have to take a moment and see the importance of that moment, because Iyo is not just another wrestler on the roster. Iyo has been building herself into one of the most complete performers in the company. She can wrestle anybody. She can work any pace. She can be spectacular, emotional, dangerous, sympathetic. Whatever the match needs, Iyo can become that. And when Asuka embraced her, it felt like WWE saying, the next chapter belongs to Iyo. Then Iyo goes out and defeats Sol Ruca. And that match is important too, because Sol Ruca is clearly someone WWE sees potential in. She has the athleticism, she has the highlight reel offense, and even in defeat, WWE made sure there was respect after the match. And even after having a loss, she still looks important. That tells you Sol wasn't just there to lose, she was there to be tested. And Iyo passed her own test by winning the match, but Sol also came out looking like someone who belongs in the conversation. That's probably the smartest booking WWE is going to do for these two, because you elevate Iyo while still protecting Sol upside. But emotionally, the big piece here is still Asuka. The moment felt bigger than a normal backstage segment because it made you stop and think about Asuka's place in WWE's history. And if Asuka is stepping away for a bit, or if this is WWE resetting her character, then giving her that moment with Iyo is the right move. Because wrestling is not just about championships, it's about lineage. It's about who carries the standard forward. And in this segment, it felt like Asuka was telling Iyo, you're ready. So my take on this is that this was WWE quietly saying Asuka's era may be shifting, but Iyo Sky is carrying the spirit going forward. And honestly, I love that, because sometimes wrestling doesn't need a betrayal. It doesn't need a chair shot. It doesn't need somebody getting thrown through a table. Sometimes all it needs is two performers with history, emotion, and respect. And that is why Asuka and Iyo take the number 2 spot. And now we get to the number 1 moment of the night. Jacob Fatu destroys Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso. This was the biggest moment of Raw. Obviously, no debate here. Roman Reigns had his acknowledgement ceremony, and anytime Roman has a ceremony, you already know WWE is setting the table for something dramatic. Roman is not just a wrestler anymore. Roman is a whole power structure. When Roman stands in the ring and asks to be acknowledged, it is not just about ego, it's about control, it's about their family lineage, it's about hierarchy. It is about who bends the knee. But Jacob did not come to bend the knee. He came to break the table. And that's exactly what he did. Jacob Fatu laid waste to Roman Reigns and the Usos. He didn't come off like a challenger trying to prove himself anymore. He came off like a damn monster who already knows he freaking belongs in this talk. And that is an important difference to note, because some wrestlers enter a segment and feel like they are being introduced to the main event scene. Jacob Fatu entered this segment like the main event scene should have been worried about him the whole damn time. He attacked Roman, he attacked Jimmy, he attacked Jey, and by the end of it, Roman's ceremony had completely collapsed. And that visual that they showed is important because Roman Reigns has spent years being presented as the final boss, the tribal chief, the head of the table, the man who controls the damn room. But on this Raw, Jacob Fatu made Roman look vulnerable again, and that is not easy to do. Roman can lose a match and still feel powerful. Roman can get attacked and still feel protected. Roman can be down for 5 seconds and still feel like the biggest star in the company. So when WWE allows somebody to physically overwhelm Roman like this, you need to pay attention. That means they are serious about Jacob Fatu. And the best part is, Fatu didn't just look dangerous. He looked undamn controllable. That's the key when it comes to this storyline, because the Bloodline story has always been about control. Roman controlling the family, Roman controlling the narrative when it comes to the family, Roman controlling loyalty through his fear, manipulation, and even his legacy. But Jacob Fatu feels like the one person Roman cannot control. He is not playing politics. He is not asking permission. He is not even waiting for a seat at the table. He is flipping the damn table over on everyone and when it comes to my thought on this, Jacob Fatu is not just the Nets bloodline problem. He is the problem. Roman wanted acknowledgement, but by the end of the night, Roman was the one left broken. And now the question becomes, what does Roman Reigns do when fear stops working? Because Roman's entire empire has been built on people fearing the consequences of crossing him. But Jacob Fatu does not look afraid. Jimmy and Jay can get caught in the middle of all this. Solo can have his own agenda. The family tree can keep growing more complicated. But Jacob Fatu feels like the wrecking ball. And WWE closing Raw with this moment tells you exactly what they want us to talk about. They want us asking, is Jacob Fatu the most dangerous man in the Bloodline story now? And honestly, after this Raw, he might as well be. That is why Jacob Fatu destroying Roman Reigns and the Usos is the #1 moment for Monday Night Raw on May 11th. Before we close, we do have to shout out a few honorable mentions. Dominic Mysterio defending the AAA Mega Championship was a major moment, especially with WWE's AAA crossover becoming a bigger part of the product now. Javon Evans beating Rusev was another strong result. That is a big win for Javon and keeps the Intercontinental title picture feeling active and alive. And the Judgment Day attacking Paige and Brie Bella keeps Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel Rodriguez looking like the dangerous team in the women's tag division. So even outside the top 3, this Raw had some movement. Not everything was perfect. Not everything hit at the same level. But storyline-wise, WWE gave us a lot to talk about and think about whether you agree with it or not. So those are my top 3 moments from Monday Night Raw May 11th. Number 3, Joe Hendry and the Street Profits defeat Division with Seth Rollins creating chaos. At number 2, Asuka giving Iyo Sky an emotional passing of the torch moment. And number 1, Jacob Fatu destroying Roman Reigns and the Usos, completely wrecking the acknowledgement ceremony. But now I want to hear from you. Was Jacob Fatu destroying Roman the clear number 1 moment? Did the Asuka and Iyo moment hit you emotionally? And are the Street Profits finally getting back into the tag team title picture? Drop your top 3 moments in the comments below. And if the T hit right, hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.